Hi, welcome to another CCI Investments Mobile Home Park Monday. My name is Robert Merchant. I own CCI Investments. We're a nationwide mobile home park consultants. Today we're going to talk about due diligence in mobile home parks. The key to success is doing your due diligence, making a plan, and following the plan. So, as you can see, due diligence is the key to successful mobile home park investing. So, there's just so many things you need to check. There's also so many answers that you're not going to get. And you just have to be able to look at what you get, digest the information, and decide if this piece of property is going to work for you, and try as hard as you can to make sure that you buy something that will work, that you have enough money to do, and that you don't get halfway in the plan and then can't finish the plan. And if you do get halfway in the plan and can't finish it, what is it worth at that time? Can you come out making a little money or not losing money? So you gotta figure things, and I don't like going into things unless I'm sure that plan's going to work and everybody is involved with that plan is all on the same page. So right now we're going to talk about what to ask for in due diligence, the basics. Okay, inspecting infrastructure. Access utility systems, pipes, park-owned homes, septic systems, wells, etc., to try to avoid costly surprises. You're always going to have surprises, but you want to try to cut down on those surprises as best you can. So what we're going to talk about right now is what we ask for if we have when we get ready to check out infrastructure. So basic questions that you need that the owner knows. He don't have to have everything in Rent Manager or any other system. He can answer these questions. Is the park on city water or well? If it's on a well, how many wells? What are the water lines made out of? A map of the park. Regarding the vacant lots on the park, are there water and sewer hookups for all the vacant lots? Do the vacant lots need new power poles and electric boxes installed? How many acres is the park, and what year was the park built? You have to find out if it's on the septic, who the septic operator is, who the who pumps the septic. If you have a septic tank, if you have a lagoon, who the lagoon operator is. You just got to ask the questions. What's the sewer line made out of? Is it Orangeburg pipe or old clay pipes? And you got to figure, well, when I put a new home in a new lot over here and I put a home over there and hook it up, and I hadn't had any water and sewer running to it in a long time, I'm probably going to have to do some infrastructure work. So you're going to have to figure in some extra money after you have somebody check it out and see. It's not. Don't say that you can't buy a park that's got Orangeburg pipe. So you just got to check it out and be prepared for what you have to do. If you can buy the park at a cheap enough price, then if you can buy the park at a cheap enough price, then you just figure all these other things in when you make your plan. This is what we need to do. This is the funds that's needed. If you don't have enough money to finish the plan, don't buy that park. Buy something else that fits your needs. Even though a park is good, you can't. You don't go in and fix somebody's park up for them and then let the bank have it. Because I'll tell you, this is how it works, and this is why it's important to do your homework. If you go in and fix a place to a certain point and you owe the bank less than the park is worth, they're just going to probably foreclose and sell it for what it's worth. If you owe him more than what it's worth, he'll work with you, but that's a bad situation to be in. So you want to try your best not to be in that situation. You want to go in, look at the water lines, the sewer lines, the power poles, and figure all that stuff out, what it's going to cost you. Talk to an electrician, talk to the county and the city to make sure there's no violations on any of the well, septic, lagoons, whatever you're buying. Now, we have some sample questions that we asked for. What's the next one you had up here, Rachel? Was it tenant profiles?
Yes.
Okay. The tenant profiles, we just want to see the rent roll, delinquencies, etc. So we ask for a current rent roll and a current delinquency report. Who's behind and how much are they behind? And then we ask the owner to sign a verification and put it in the escrow that these are true and correct numbers. We just do that because we want to make sure that as best we can, we're getting true and correct numbers, because there are people out here who will fudge on the stuff. Now, we do ask for a list of the capital expenditures for the last year. We ask for the P&L for the last year if we can get it. We ask for the bank statements for about 6 months. But let's talk about bank statements for a minute. Some people say, well, the tenants pay direct down at the bank. There's always a chance that the owner will go in and put a deposit in the bank. And I speak this from experience of being old and doing a lot of mobile home parks for my clients and myself. And if an owner goes in and puts in $5,000 a month in the deposits and gives you the deposit slip, and it's just a deposit made in there for rent, you're going to see all the deposits coming in. Well, if he does that, puts 5,000 in, and then takes an owner draw for 5, and then puts 5,000 in, and just keeps using that 5,000 over and over again, that's $60,000 a year in extra income. Yeah, you got to pay taxes on it, but it's not near what it's not $600,000 worth of taxes. And that's exactly what he can sell it for or more if you pay him a 10 cap, if he does that to you, because that $60,000 a year will go directly to the bottom line. Because if you don't cheat on any of the other income, you don't cheat on the expenses at all, he gives you that number, but he's putting in $60,000 a year in the income. That $60,000 will go in the income, but it'll also go directly to the bottom line because the expenses won't change. And then at a 10 cap, it's worth $600,000, and it cost him whatever the taxes were on 60 grand. So you just got to be very careful and don't believe just because of the deposit. You got to go into the park and you got to do your due diligence. You got to look and see at nighttime how many people are standing outside smoking a joint and drinking booze out of a 32-ounce bottle. And in the daytime, how many cars are still there? Do they have jobs? Okay. You just have to watch out, because not that you can't buy the park, but I can tell you that if you buy a park and you got a bunch of crankheads in here, chances are you're going to have to get them out, or you're not going to attract anybody but more crankheads. So you got to go in and look at tenants. So they look like crankheads. You can't. I don't want to judge people, but you can pretty much tell what kind of tenant you're getting if you really look at the park. You got to look at the neighborhood. You got to look at the neighborhood and what's around you. You got to look at zoning regulations and compliance. Got to go and call the what we do market. Okay, I got to see up here. We got market research, rent survey, housing demand, population, demographics. You can buy great parks in small towns. You can buy good parks in big towns, but you do want to know what your population is. If you have a town of 2,000 people, you're probably not going to keep a 200 space mobile home park full just because it's got 200 lots. But you will probably keep a 40 lot park full, because if you got other little towns around and they got nowhere when the kids get out of high school and get a job at the factory or wherever they're working, you got to live somewhere, and they either got to live over in the housing projects if they're on low income, or a low end apartment, or a mobile home. And having owned all of those different type things over the years, I can rent mobile homes quite a bit more often than I rent one of those little apartments, and because people like having their own yard. So anyways, and then you got to do a rent survey. Okay, we also do certain things. We ask for a current code violation from any government, state, local authority against the park. We get a list of all the park-owned homes, and we ask for the sizes on the homes. You can take that down, right? We ask for the sizes of the homes and the make, model, and year. And a lot of times they don't even know, and we just have to measure them. We want to know how big the lots are. Sometimes they don't know. They just tell you. You got to look at them. You have to go out there and see can I put a 70-foot trailer. You got to see what the setbacks are. You got to find out questions like, well, if that trailer burns down, can I replace it? Because sometimes they're sitting in a situation where they're okay as long as they're there. But if you go to put another home in there, whether it's a used or new, you got to be this many feet from this and this many feet from that. And we're doing one right now. We tore down 25 homes in town in Arkansas, and we got ready to put homes back in here. And they said, "Oh, you can't put that many in here anymore. You got to do this," because y'all took them all out. And we knew that we was going to face that, but I think we're going to get around it. But anyway, we had to get a civil engineer. We're having to do stuff and bring things up to modern standard what it is right now. Normally, you don't have to do that, but you better check and make sure. Also, some places have stipulations that you can't bring anything in over 10 years old, or where, and some that you have things that you're not really supposed to work on mobile home parks in the park are supposed to come in ready to be rented. So you just got to ask things. You got to find out, and that's the kind of things you got to do. You got to talk to a local eviction attorney to see what the local judge wants, not what the state says about evictions and all that stuff. We're going to have a podcast about evictions at a later date, but just suffice to say that it doesn't matter what the state, what you look up on the computer and see what the eviction law is. It matters what the local judge says. And I know that because I go through it. And you can still evict people. You just got to do what the local judge says. You need to know that before you buy the park. Sometimes you'll have a park that you have to move the home. You can't evict the tenant out of it. But you have to move the home. I had that in a little place in Georgia, but I moved the home and I paid for that. And then I didn't have any more problem with people paying their rent because they had to go get it out of the storage and they had to pay that guy and they had to pay to put it back in here and they had to pay me what they owed me on the back rent and my court costs. And so they knew I'd do what it took to get the rent. They pay the rent. If you whatever it takes legally to get the rent, that's what we do. And that's what you have to do, but you have to put it in your plan. You need to get a list of any park-owned equipment. Find out if that lawnmower is going to come with it. You need to really know how to look at the profit and loss. If you've got 100 trees and you don't have anything on there about trimming trees, then you just got to figure what it's going to cost you to trim trees. Get some bids. See what it costs to buy a bucket truck and have your personally insured that trims the trees. Just so many things on due diligence. We got some final takeaways here. Get the basics as quickly as you can so you got time to work with the information you have. Use a trusted consultant, not the seller. Do your market research. Remember, due diligence is to avoid surprises. If the sales price is low enough and you know what you're getting into, a turnaround park could be a real moneymaker as long as you have a solid plan and follow the plan. That's the secret. Got to have a solid plan and you got to follow the plan. You guys want to talk to me or Rachel about this mobile home park due diligence, please give me a call, Robert Merchant, at 209-996-4075. Rachel is 209-408-7788. You can also check us out on our Facebook page, and our links to our podcast are on the screen. So you guys have a good day. CCI Investments, Mobile Home Park Monday. Catch you later.